every person who is charged with a criminal offense is entitled to defend himself in person or by a legal practitioner of his own choice.
Remember that an individual is entitled to remain silent.
Every citizen in Nigeria is entitled to maintain a private life.
You are approaching a military checkpoint or a police checkpoint without knowing that it's against or it offends them and subject you to a frog jump. That is wrong.
Hello and Happy New Year, my dear esteemed viewers. It is the Lord's doing that we are alive to see this year, and therefore focus on the brighter future that 2021 holds for us and forget about the past. It is on these joyful notes that I want to welcome you to another fresh episode of Justify Nigeria on the ACNN television, reaching you from Abuja. My name is Anozie Chinomsu. In the last episode of the program, we looked at the preliminaries and fundamentals of citizenship. It was in the course of the discussion that the essence and tenets of dual citizenship was properly dissected and explained. It is a common knowledge that the legal rudiments of citizenship cannot be exhausted at once. It is therefore needful to excavate the basis of citizenship and deal with it decisively. In doing this, certain questions come to mind. Does an individual under our laws has rights to renounce his or her citizenship? Does the president of Nigeria reserve rights to deprive someone of his or her citizenship status, according to Section 30 of 1999 Constitution as amended? How does citizenship of a nation affect our day-to-day life? With me in the studio to address all these questions is Ikechukwu Nwakama Esquire. He's a legal practitioner based in Abuja. He's a member of Nigerian Bar Association, a member Chartered Institute of Arbitrators and Conciliators. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Barrister, you are here again.
Yes.
Let's get started.
It's good to be here once again.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
In a nutshell, the last time we talked about citizenship, but in a nutshell, before we get started, what do we have? What is citizenship? In understanding of a layman.
Well, we had looked at citizenship from different perspectives.
Yes, that's in the part one.
Yes, yes. But just looking at it on the basis.
Yes.
Citizenship confers on you some certain rights in a particular society. It also helps to identify you and define you within that geographical limits.
Okay.
So it means that for me to say that I'm a citizen of a particular country, there are some rights and obligations that particular country or the laws of that country has conferred upon me. So what we have in our constitution is definition of who is a citizen, as against what is citizenship. So again, it comes back to say that, you are a citizen either by birth, by registration, or by naturalization. That is the best.
So for what you're saying, is it between who is a citizen and what citizenship is all about?
It's all about.
In summary, what does that mean? Can you just differentiate the two?
Yeah, so our constitution only give instances where you can become a citizen. Then, who becomes a citizen is defined either you are a Nigerian by birth, okay, or registration, or by naturalization.
Okay.
But however, the concept of citizenship goes beyond those things. It, like I did mention, it confers rights on you. It tries to identify you. It tries to give you some certain protection as against when you're existing nowhere.
Nowhere.
So going beyond the citizen of a nation, we have a citizen of a region, like we are West Africa, like you have the European Union. So we have citizen of West Africa with a citizen of European Union. Then you have continental citizenship. That's where you can begin to say you're an African and you say citizen of the world, United Nations. Try to look at us as a general human
body.
Yes, so as against individual citizen. So citizenship is quite broad, and I can assure you.
Thank you very much. Now, please tell us, Barrister Ikechukwu, how does citizenship of a nation affect our day-to-day life?
It is so important that there are some things you ordinarily can't enjoy unless you're a citizen. First, There are some rights, like I did mention. We have the political rights, which is rights to hold political position. And those rights are conferred upon citizens that...
And this political position might be either elected or appointed.
Yes, but basically more of elected.
Elected.
So you look at the president, look at the vice, the governor, and all that. Has to be a citizen by birth. And the way the constitution has made it that you can't just be a citizen of Nigeria by naturalization or by registration. So that is one. Secondly, in aspect of rights, there are some rights that are universal. Rights to life, rights to expression and all that. Those are universal rights. But there are some rights that are peculiar to citizens. That is why if you are looking at chapter 4 of the Constitution and looking at it, there are some rights that say everybody. And there are some rights that say every citizen. Take for an instance, right to own property. If it is a landed property, a foreigner cannot own a landed property under section 46 of Land Use Acts. So you now see that you need to be a citizen of Nigeria for you to own a landed property. In fact, that particular issue arose sometime in Jigawa and in Kaduna. A German who had invested in Kaduna through his company wanted to ask the company to transfer that property to him. But the court rejected it to say that no, as a foreigner, the Land Use Act doesn't give you pass to acquire land. To acquire land. So there's a Supreme Court decision in that respect. Even though we have criticized that decision and even the enactment, because in an industrial nation, you can't restrict ownership of land to citizens.
Because it should be for everybody.
It will inhibit the extent at which you develop. But again, back to your question,
yes.
You have to be a citizen to own that. There's another case of Ahmed, where somebody from Niger was contesting that he's a citizen of Nigeria on the basis that he has the Nigerian passports and he has other things that should give him that citizenship. But on the further investigation, it was discovered that he's not a citizen. And the court came to a conclusion to say, your right to movement can be curtailed because that right to freedom of movement is only given to citizens of Nigeria. So being a citizen of Nigeria simply gives you some peculiar rights that is not available to other people who are not citizens of Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much. Is Quota system constitutional? If it is, how does it discriminate against citizens in a different region?
Well, the issue of quota has been a controversial issue. In fact, it has been an issue that became a hot burner issue after independence. Nigeria,
you mean after 1960?
Yes, after 1960. Nigeria as it is has over 250 ethnic groups and languages. The integration of these ethnic groups and languages became a problem at some point. The fear of one region dominating against another became an issue. How do we try to give a fair balance? So that's why you see section 14 sub 3 and 4 of the Constitution. Gives makes it a requirement that the federal character principle must be followed in terms of appointments and in terms of how people benefit in respect to the nation. But that particular principle has been taken too far, to the point that is now in our conflict with people's rights to freedom of discrimination. We have a situation where, in an attempt to give a national correlation to what we do, we have inadvertently introduced some sort of discrimination which the quota system has brought. And I give you a case, a sample, something that occurred here in Nigeria, the case of Badejo. Badejo became a controversial case in Nigeria. This girl applied for an admission in a federal unity school, and she scored 283, if I'm right, 283. But the cutoff mark for her state, Osun, was 285. Therefore, she was not given admission
to that unity school. However, her colleagues that are from other part of country scored 151, and they were given admission.
She felt discriminated, and she approached the court through the next of kin, that's the father. And they said, I feel discriminated. Why should I score 283 and I'm rejected as a citizen? And it goes back to our understanding of citizenship. Why should I score 283 as a citizen where somebody who scored 151 was admitted against me? The High Court, yes, she went to the Federal High Court. The High Court rejected her claim on the basis that she has not demonstrated locus standi. You know, she has not demonstrated how.
Just a quick one, what is locus standi?
Your right to sue in an action. That she has not demonstrated how that particular policy affected her over and above other members of the society. She again went to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal said she has a locus because she is affected, but they refused to grant her prayers because in the wisdom of the Court of Appeal, the rest, that is the reason why she came to court, has been overtaken by events because the examination has already been taken for about 15 months.
And of course, people have started
schooling. So the court said, I can't really undo that because the rest has been destroyed, but only awarded costs. Took it up again to Supreme Court,
which is the final court.
But in all these things, the court missed the opportunity to even answer the question that was submitted to it, and which is, this particular policy, does it discriminate me? Regardless of fact whether that particular policy can be overturned or reversed, but have I been discriminated? But the court did not look at those issues. The court looked at the issue whether the court can undo what has been done. And at the end of the day, the court said, no, we can't reverse the hand of the clock. So that is done. Now, Badijo at that age is now having an identity crisis. She's now feeling that, am I truly a Nigerian, or am I Yoruba or Igbo? Because in Nigeria today, citizenship has lost its essence. What we have is citizen of a nationhood. I give an example. I better answer an Hausa man or a Yoruba man or an Igbo man than to answer a Nigerian. At that little age, the girl has had the conscience that, or she's now aware that I don't stand in the same pedestal with other citizens. So the quota system by its own way has had a way to discriminate people. Indeed, the essence of quota system was important or was necessary so that some other regions will not be taken aback. But as of today, I feel it's no longer necessary. Because there is no region in Nigeria that is not as educated as other regions. I went to law school with a lot of people from different parts of the country. So you go to NYSC, you have a lot of people from different parts of the country. So we can't sustain quota system as it is today. The argument that Section 14, Sub 3
that and 4... That argument is what you will get to us immediately we come back from break. Please do join us again. Hi, Happy New Year to you, my esteemed viewers. This is a brand new year. 2020 is gone, and therefore I urge you to forget any disappointments or challenges you might have encountered last year and forge ahead, for new joys and possibilities awaits you this new year of 2021. It is on this happy note that I wish to welcome you to this edition of The Speaker on ACNN television, reaching from Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Anozechi Nomsu. A cursory look at the happenings in Africa reveals that Africa, through the vicissitude of time, have undergone series of problems. Oftentimes, we philosophize these problems, we grammatize, diplomatize, and cover up the problems of Africa, pretending that all is well. But the African problems are real. To the Baraka woman in the Democratic Republic of Congo, who has no place to rest because of a civil war, the problems are real. To the men and women who cannot go to school or have a morsel of food to eat in Bangui in the Central African Republic, the problems are real. To those in Mogadishu, Somalia, who cannot plan beyond 1 week because of Al-Shabaab, the problems are real. To the women who are escaping from rape to rape in Maiduguri, northern Nigeria, because of Boko Haram, the problems are real. To the young men and women who risk their lives crossing the Sahara Desert and swimming across the Mediterranean Sea, the problems are real. Africa is bleeding on a daily basis. Africans are dying in hunger. And all this has caused so much bitterness to Africa, which arouses the consciousness of Mr. Speaker on how to make Africa better and not bitter. I think one of the things we must do in making Africa better is to first of all interrogate ourselves, because this is a message for Africa. What has happened to Africa that she produces leaders that are always self-centered? Why must Africa produce people who occupy positions of leadership while in the actual sense they are not leaders? Why must we wait for the Western civilization and colonial masters to come and tell us what to do? Why must we always produce thieves and greedy people as leaders in Africa? In making Africa better, we must unite as one. We must see ourselves as brothers and sisters. I totally believe the words of Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. In the month of May 1963, when 32 heads of states and government congregated in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and he said, and I quote, "We have gathered here not to parade our self-independence, but to underscore the fact that without unity, Africa will not stand strong. And therefore, let us not live here without one mind, one army, one currency, one nation, for togetherness is a total recipe for strength." Unquote. But the rest of the African leaders at that time who are present on that day listened to him not. Rather, they were hoodwinked by the trappings of power. When we come together, we shall have strong economy. Better policies and decisions will emerge. The issue of visa to travel to African countries will automatically cease. The problems of using different currency notes will stop. Because an American can wake up in the morning and fly for hours from San Francisco to his destination in the same America, and he's grabbed with one currency, the dollar. But look at your Africa. I'm here in Nigeria, I'm dealing with the Naira. I move to South Africa, I'm dealing with the Rand, and my Naira becomes useless. I move to Lesotho, I'm dealing with the Loti. I move to Zambia, I'm dealing with the Kwacha. I move to Kenya, I'm dealing with the shilling. I move to Mozambique, I'm dealing with the Metical. I move to Namibia, I'm dealing with the Namibian dollar. I move to Angola, I'm dealing with the Kwanza. I move to Ghana, I'm dealing with the Cedi. I move to Democratic Republic of Congo, I'm dealing with the franc. I move to Zimbabwe, I don't know whether I'm dealing with the currency or ordinary paper, because Zimbabwean dollar has no value at all. In all this, none of the African currency is a hard currency. What a shame. For Africa to be better, we must come together, love and see ourselves as one. The next thing Africa must do is to decolonize our mind. We must begin to think differently. We must not base our superiority on the standard of America and Europe. Africa must also develop self-esteem. It is because of inferiority complex that we make a minister of health in the Democratic Republic of Congo to leave Mamayemo Hospital in Kinshasa and travel abroad for medical treatment. Ghana is one of the largest producers of cocoa in the world, yet they still import coffee and chocolate because of low self-esteem. When we fry potato in Wuse markets in Abuja, Nigeria, we call it French fries because of lack of self-esteem. The tragedy of Africa is that Africa produces what she does not consume and consume what she does not produce. I therefore speak that until Africans come together through their leaders and rub minds on how to unite, provide enable an environment for adequate infrastructure, production of quality goods and services, creativity and innovation, develop self-esteem, and elect good people into public office, we shall continue to have bitter Africa instead of better Africa. My name is Anozie Chinomso. I just want to speak. Glad to know you are still there, my esteemed viewers. We are still here with Barrister Ikechukwu Nwakama. Barrister, before we went on break, we are trying to answer some questions. There's an argument you wanted to, explain based on the question. Please, you can continue with that argument.
Thank you so much. We look at quota system is tied to citizenship, and it is tied to the citizenship that looks at indigene, that looks at your regional, the place you were giving birth to, looks at your states and all that. Section 14 says whatever thing the government has to do, you have to make sure that every ethnic group is carried along. But if you look at that particular section, the primary purpose is to foster unity and loyalty to the nation, and not loyalty to a particular ethnic group. There was a place I walked into, and a young man accosted them. I said, well, young man, where are you from? I said, I'm from Nigeria. He said, that's not what I asked you. I want to know, where are you from? I said, I don't know what you want to answer. But what I'm asking you is that I'm a citizen of Nigeria. Unless you want to know the state I am from. Today, people are assessed based on the state they come from.
Yes, ethnic extraction.
Exactly. And that is the identity crisis I'm trying to explain here. I am a citizen of Nigeria first before I am born in a particular state.
Even oftentimes, Barrister, you will go to a place, they will ask you your name. If your first name is John, they would like to know your second name. Not that they want to know you well, but to pigeonhole you and with your identity or your ethnicity and do you accordingly. I mean, it's not right.
And that is the crisis.
That's the crisis.
We now have today that your local government of origin is more important. That local government of origin certificate is more important to you than your international, than your
national ID card.
National ID card.
Yes.
Because that local government of origin gives you access to employment, gives you access to education, gives you access to other things. And we say it's not healthy for a country like Nigeria with the kind of diversity we have. Someone that have stayed all his life in Lagos, your father, your grandfather, your great-grandparents were born, lived and died in Lagos. Perhaps maybe you're from Ebony. You will not be allowed to benefit from Lagos. When there is an issue that has to do with the nation, they will ask you to go back to your states, then to benefit from that. And we see that this is not helping our citizenship. We have to do away with that. For me, quota system should be done away with. Every sector or every region of this country is well educated. Allow merit to take the place and not quota system. Because the quota system will put back or let the citizenship take the back seat, and then
ethnicity now
will be in front. And this is really an unfortunate situation.
May God help us. But now, looking at what you've just explained, how best can we ensure a nationhood citizenship as against ethnic preferences in Nigeria, based on your explanation?
It is first for us to have that consciousness that we have to get things done right. 1962 now is quite a long time. That we have to realize that the nation has moved beyond the colonial time. First, we have to take away state of origin. We have to take away local government of origin and replace them with state of residence.
That's number one.
Exactly. So if I'm living in Abuja, I'm paying my tax, and which I do regularly in Abuja, and everything I'm doing is here in Abuja, I don't see the reason why my children should be asked to go to my states
and local government.
Exactly, to be able to get an employment. That is asking them to reap where they didn't sow. We should do away with that. The quota system can be replaced with a 50-50 arrangement. 50% should be on merits, because the quota system has deprived us from having the best hands to come in to manage the affairs of the nation. 50% of whatever we do should be on pure merits. Maybe the other 50% can be considered.
I even suggest 70%.
Or perhaps.
It was 50.
Then the other region can also be compensated. The argument that some regions are disadvantaged than others does not stand again, because the country has moved on. A lot of people has acquired education even in those regions that you are scared of. So that's we need to do. Another thing we need to do as a nation is the issue of reorientation. In Rwanda, you don't discuss where you come from. It's even a criminal offense to say I am from Tutsi or Hutu. You have to say that I'm a Rwandan. The loyalty should be first to Nigeria, before where I come from. It shouldn't be first to where I come from before Nigeria. So that we have to start doing. We have to start imbibing it in us that you have to be you are a citizen of Nigeria, and you have to be it before you begin to talk about where you come from or which local government you belong to. So those are the things we can do to make sure that the issue of this disunity and identity crisis is taken away.
Thank you very much. I have heard some people in a debate, they said that president, after all, our constitution carried that president has the right at any time to deprive somebody of fees or citizenship. Is that correct? What's your view on that?
Well, the answer is yes, it's correct. No, it is not correct.
You have come again. This your legal answers. Please expatiate on that. Because you have two answers now. Yes. Let's start from yes.
The president can deprive someone who is not a citizen of Nigeria by birth in two circumstances. First, if that person has been convicted of an offense punishable by 3 years imprisonment within 7 years of acquiring that citizenship. So remember, we have citizenship by birth, by registration, and by naturalization. The president cannot deprive someone who is a citizen by birth. But these other two aspects, the president can deprive you if the person has committed an offense punishable by 3 years imprisonment within 7 years. And if the person is disloyal to Nigeria, is trading with an enemy of the state. Give an instance. If someone from Britain has a citizenship of Nigeria by registration, and it is discovered that he's giving information or supporting Boko Haram, on that basis, the president can deprive the person his citizenship. So that's why I said yes. But no, if you're a citizen by birth, regardless of what you do, the president cannot deprive you that citizenship. Look at it from this way. Assuming the president has the absolute power to deprive citizenship, and the constitution says you can only be a president of Nigeria if you're a citizen by birth. It means that any time that somebody comes to contest against the president will exercise his power to tell the person you are not a citizen, and by that you are disqualified. So in the wisdom of the makers of the constitution, they remove the one of birth. So once you are born in Nigeria and once you're a citizen of Nigeria by birth, that status cannot be removed from you.
Once you're a Nigerian citizen by birth, that status cannot be removed from you. We want to thank you so much. Thank you very much, Barrister. And I hope next time we call you, you oblige us. You have really dealt decisively on the subject matter. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you so much.
The essence and the fundamentals of citizenship cannot be overemphasized. Citizenship confers one a constitutional and legitimate identity in a state. It defeats the fear of lack of adaptation and free association among members of a given state. It is therefore advised that every citizen should endeavor to uphold and protect the source and the origin where he derives his citizenship, which in our case is Nigeria. This is because citizenship comes with certain responsibilities. This is where we draw the curtain on today's episode of the program. Until we come your way again, same time, same station, this is Anozechinum, so wishing you Happy New Year once again, and bye for now.